You going right up? I think I might bump you. Is he going to start right away?
All right. Thanks, Neil. And I let the campaign go. If you have further questions, pass them on to me or pass them on to the campaign. I'll forward them and pass them on to me. Our next person that I want to introduce here,
closer.
we have
Just noisy.
former Senate Majority Leader Paul Gazelka. And so thrilled that you come here tonight to our Senate district.
Okay.
How many people want to win? Really, you want to win? Because we haven't won in a while, and there is something that has been winning. Think about that. We've won 3 of the last 4 times. So when everybody else has been losing, we have been winning.
You guys got a flyer? I think I have one of those things.
There's a conversation going on over here. Quiet.
That's all right.
No, it's not. I can't hear.
You're right. I wish I had a microphone. This is like the 5th meeting today, I think, something like that.
I have one in the car.
It's really good to be here. I'll try to do it this way.
They want one?
But I'm Paul Gazelka. I was the leader of the Senate for the last 5 years. Most of that time we had a one-seat majority. The House was controlled by Democrats. The governor obviously was Democrat. And yet we held the line. Somebody asked about the Second Amendment. Not once did we give up on the Second Amendment. I will tell you, Scott Jensen wanted to give up on the Second Amendment. Not once did we give up on the Second Amendment. We never raised taxes, not with Dayton, not with Walls twice. We never raised taxes. We protected life, we protected the Constitution, we protected small business owners, we protected the ag community, but frankly, we even protected the police. And I can't believe that I even have to say that, but they wanted to defund the police. Many of the reforms that they were trying to do would have driven police out of the ranks of being a police officer. And just today, at noon, I got all of the chiefs of police across the entire state of Minnesota got together and they gave me the Legislator of the Year defending our communities and defending the police. In June, I got the Legislator of the Year from the BPOU, that's Minnesota Decent Police Officers. They gave me their Legislator of the Year award. Last month, the Highway Patrol endorsed me for governor. Why would they do that? Why would they endorse me for governor? That is one of the key issues that we have to focus on is public safety. And all of those groups said, I'm the guy. Well, because I'm not afraid to stand up when things are tough. Tough talk is easy. Anybody can talk. Try that one. But think about that. I mean, I can tell you, the differences between me and Scott Jensen. Back then, when it came to the Second Amendment in 2018, there was tremendous pressure because of shootings to give up on the Second Amendment, to pass universal background checks. He authored 2 anti-Second Amendment bills. Now he's suddenly tough talk, wrong on the Second Amendment. But when the pressure's there, what do? Do you raise taxes? Do you give up on pro-life? Do you give up on the Second Amendment? We never did. Never, ever did that. And so right now we have an opportunity to win. But for me, it's not just winning governor. I gave up my role as leader of the Senate. I could have stayed. But the reason I gave up on that is because we have to win the Senate and we have to win the House. I didn't want to just have a platform of the Senate so I could be in front of the media all the time. The Senate needs to win. And I left them with more money than they raised in the prior 4 years before I came over as leader. In 9 months, I raised more money than what they had the prior 4 years. So they're going to win. The House under Kurt Dowd, they're passionate to win right now. Last time I didn't see that passion, I see it right now. And that's about winning governor. Because if we have House, Senate, governor, then we can actually do something. If it's just governor, we just hold the line again, everybody gets frustrated. So what am I going to do when I'm governor? Well, I can first of all, I'm going to do a hiring freeze on all state workers. That's how you shrink the size of government, hiring freeze. That's what Ronald Reagan did. I'll appoint commissioners that aren't going to just be political appointees. They're going to be experts in their field. My expectation is they look for waste and fraud. We haven't looked at state government for a long time, and it's time to save some money on many of these agencies. The second thing I'll do, or third, is the expectation is that they look for regulations that we don't need. Not for the individual, not for business, not for the ag community, not for education. One of the things that we really don't need, that was what Donald Trump did. He got rid of 8 regulations for every new one he added. Emergency powers, you better believe we're going to change those. And you don't have to wonder if I'm going to do it, because we passed Senate File 4 that only gave a governor 30 days. I'd sign 7 days. I'd sign less than that. The governor does not need the emergency powers the way Walz did. For elections, absolutely we'll do election reform. You don't have to wonder again. The Senate passed photo ID for voting this year. The House would not agree. We passed reform for the provisional ballots. You show up and vote, you got to prove who you say you are. Right now you don't. I would create a pot of money that does election audits on a regular basis. Why don't we do that? Everybody wants to know their elections are fair. Education. Parents need more choice. Period. And I've always defended homeschool and Christian school in addition to public school. But parents need to choose where their kids want to go, and we need to help them go other places if it's not public school. Minority kids in Minneapolis and St Paul are crying out for other options, and the Democrats keep saying no. And I'll make sure that the history standards don't forget our triumphs. All they want to focus on is our failures. That's all they want to focus on. And so kids graduate, and some think the flag is racist. And they don't know that they're citizens of the greatest country in the world. That's on us to hold the line. You don't have to wonder, because we got a 2-year delay. The governor wants to change the history standards and say, you don't have to talk about World War I, World War II, you don't have to talk about George Washington, you don't have to talk about the Holocaust, so what do you believe? So that's the battle we're in. I want to make sure parents have oversight in schools. I want to make sure that the curriculum is transparent. Right now we have legislation that says it's transparent, but the parents don't know how to get to that. We've got to make it easy for them to do that. So it's time to take our state back. I mean, that's the fact of the matter. And I'm the only one that has governed against 2 Democrat governors, 3 $50 billion budgets, and never raised taxes. All these other guys talk about all these things they're going to do. Well, tough talk is easy, but if you've never balanced a $50 billion budget, and you're going to come in and 1 month later you're supposed to do that, I'm sorry, but you actually have to have some experience to do this. I'm the only one that kept 34 senators together, 1 vote majority, 5 moderates, we held the line. I'm the only one that recruited 2 Democrat senators to join us from the Iron Range. First time ever in our history, because I build relationships with people and I influence people to the place we should go. Nobody else has that governing experience. And if you don't think that that's important when you're governing at this magnitude, it's a big deal. How do I win when I say I don't think the other ones win? I've got range Democrat leaders. Range, that's Virginia, Minnesota, Democrat leaders publicly promoting me on the range, because that's where my wife and I are from. By the way, Marilee Gazelka.
Hi, y'all.
39 years. We've been married, 5 kids, 5 families.
We're from the range?
Yes,
All right.
Virginia.
Virginia, okay. All right.
So they're promoting me on the range,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
That's how we get more Democrat votes. I talked to you about the police. That's how we're going to do well with public safety. Blue collar unions have been supporting me. When they're literally on Walz's campaign, they're giving support to me right now. I don't know if they'll endorse me. They're definitely supporting me. And that's how we won Cloquet for the first time. We picked a union candidate to win in Cloquet. That's how we won in Austin since a long time. We picked a union candidate in Austin. So I'm building a network that none of these other guys have. They can say they're going to do it now, but I've been doing it for more than 5 years, and that's how we have this influence. And then the last group is Minneapolis and St. Paul. For the last 5 years, I've been working with minority communities in Minneapolis and St. Paul, the Hmong community in St. Paul, the India community up in Plymouth, the Black and Latino communities and what they're caring about. And they don't want to defund the police. This is what they want. We share common faith with many of them. They want their families to succeed. They want a good education for their kids. They don't want to defund the police. And they want jobs for their future. That's what we want. And that's what they want. And so that's the folks that I'm building bridges with. If they want Marxism, we're not on the same page. If they want to defund the police, that's not us. But a lot of them want to be with something. They want something else. And I'll close with this and take a few questions. I met one black pastor in the cities, and it was either the second or third visit. He said, I was the first Republican leader that has ever been in his church in 25 years. And it was by building a relationship that he said, if you can show me something different, I'll change. And so what can we do that's different? Well, show us how to get jobs. Well, it's not always the government. So my union connection, blue collar unions, we've set up meetings to create a pipeline for people in that church to get blue collar union jobs. Well, that's not the government, it's just building relationships. So anyway, I'm Paul Gazelka. I'm the leader of the Senate for the last 5 years. The other 5 candidates are great people, but the fact is they don't have the leadership skills to do what you're asking them to do. They're just telling you what we go and say every single meeting. So with that, I'll take a few questions. I know I've got to do a Zoom with another group, but any questions on any subject, including what is the difference between me and other candidates, I'm happy to go into that.
Question here.
Yes.
So, I'm one of the admins over at the Mountain Parents United, for the Mountain School District. One of the things that we're dealing with, there's so many mistakes we were handling up. But I'd love to hear what you would like to do with the schools to allow parents more access, more control, more clarity, and really bring excellence back to schools, not just indoctrination, but education.
Yeah, you know, you're spot on, and obviously the term is critical race theory, but frankly it's white privilege, it's equities. I mean, there's a lot of terms that it's used on. And in statute right now, there is language that says that the schools are supposed to show curriculum transparency. So we're working on legislation right now to make sure that you have access to be able to actually see what's going on. That's the one factor that wasn't there, and so they're not really making that available to kids. And this is a big issue nationwide. The 3 issues that we went on, and one is public safety, the second one is education, the parents involved. I mean, that's a huge one. And the third one's the economy. And those are the issues that Youngkin, frankly, won in Virginia. But if you go to my website, that's been on my website from the very beginning. Those 3 issues. Parents have to be more engaged. The only way we do that is to create more access for them, which we will do. I'm so excited to see many communities across the state, the parents are saying, not in my school. And, so we delayed the change of the history standards, but frankly, we need a new governor so that they can't do it at all.
Yeah, there's more momentum now among parents than I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, which is really exciting to me. Same thing with your city councils. People are engaging like I've never seen. And that gives me hope. Frankly, my hope is in God, but frankly, it's that we rise up to take back many of the things that they've been trying to take from us. So, yes and yes.
Can I ask you about your stance on the mandatory vaccine?
Against. Yeah, we should never mandate vaccines, and you don't have to wonder if that's where I'm at. Remember, I said tough talks is easy. Anybody could say it. As Senate leader, first of all, we didn't have any vaccine mandates, but secondly, we didn't have a mask mandate in the Senate. The entire rest of the state vaccine or mask mandate, I said in the Senate, you get to choose. So I recommended people do it, but I lead by influence. The governor led by a stick. And that's never the way I think that you govern. We serve the people. The people are up here, you're down here serving. But I'm very much opposed to vaccine mandates as well. The reason why we haven't had a special session, I just gave up leadership, but up to this time, is we wanted more options for people to not get the vaccine if they chose to. So for example, if you've had the virus, you've got antibodies, why do you have to get the vaccine? If you chose to get tested every week, the religious exemptions were actually more open to people. And so that's where I was on that, but the reason being is liberty. We cannot take away people's liberties. We have to let them follow their knowledge and heart to make the decisions they make. If we make them for them, then we're just collectivism rather than individualism, and individualism is part of liberty and what made us great. Is that clear enough? All right. You had a question.
Yeah, galvanization, the galvanization between the parties. I think that has to, for me, it has to go. That we have to stand on common ground
Yep.
with regard to, as Americans, as people
Yep.
who are born here with our liberties and our rights,
Yep.
those have to take precedent over what color we are. I mean, in terms of blue or red or pink or.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that?
Well, as the only one that actually governed, I fought hard for conservative principles, but in the end, in divided government, there were things that I didn't get done. You know, like I wanted photo ID for voting. They wanted felons to vote earlier. We set them aside. And then I governed. I mean, in the end, we passed a budget that required House, Senate, and Governor to agree. And so that is my duty to the people of Minnesota to make sure we got done. And I did it in a way I think that was honorable. So that's where I'm at. People wanted me to shut down the government, and they don't realize that the courts changed they said they're not funding government anymore in 2017. Under Dayton and Pawlenty, they funded 80% of government in a shutdown. So now they weren't going to fund vets homes, nursing homes, Teen Challenge. They wouldn't have funded the police. We would have defunded the state police. You know, and I said I'm not going to do that to the people of Minnesota. So, you know, think about the people first, and you're going to get to the right place.
Right on.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. What else? Anything? All right. So, yes. Yes and yes.
Someone else had a question.
All right. Yes.
Well, you were asking about different options as far as when you take the shots or anything.
Yeah.
It should be enough for a person to say it's my body.
Well, I
don't want to
I
take that.
totally agree. I'm just saying we were trying to find. We haven't had a special session that the governor wants that for worker bonuses, because we're trying to say you got to have more options for people. We're trying to do something, is what I'm saying. If people are just talking about we shouldn't allow it, that's fine. But we're actually trying to find ways to help people, which is why the governor did not call a special session in September or October, and now we're November, because he knows that we may take out a commissioner if he doesn't work with us. So that's why we're doing it. So ultimately, I hope the lawsuits at the federal level prevail, and that they can't do what they've been trying to do. So
I'm just curious why we keep waiting for other options. I think the option is clear. Our liberty says we put in our bodies what we want in our bodies. How many more people are going to lose their jobs before something happens here?
That's right.
How long are we going to sit by and just get more options?
well,
That's
it's
right.
a real crisis, is it not?
Yeah, I'm about to lose my job over this.
And that's why we're fighting for you. I'm just telling you that.
When are you going to start fighting them? I don't feel anybody's fighting for me. Everybody's looking for more options. Everybody's placating. Oh, just make them take a test.
So the options we're trying to do so that you do save your job. The challenge is at the federal level is where it's coming all the way down from the President of the United States. And the best lawsuits for us to win are at the federal level. If we're talking about lawsuits in Minnesota where 5 out of the 7 Chief Justice or Supreme Court justices were appointed by Democrats, I'm not up for this. And so I understand that you are in a life-changing decision that you are in front of, and I can't do any more than what I'm doing right now, which is not giving in to the governor so that we can try to get some off-ramp. And I'm no longer the leader. I stepped down as
Right.
leader, but when I was a leader, that's why we didn't do the special session, because we thought about people like you that we got to figure out a way. But it's a scary time. I can't imagine what it's going to do. Yeah. And because of that decision, we have a shortage of nurses, police, fire, business owners, EMT. I just got a letter from an EMT emergency group right now that said, we don't have enough people. We don't know where to send people. because the nurses are likely saying, of course we do this. But so because of Biden and walls, we have a major workforce shortage in key areas of our country. And, you know, so that I empathize with it. I'm just trying to say I'm trying to do what I can do. And it's very, very good.
Well, it'd be great if there was some communication telling your constituents this.
Yeah. Well, you're not my constituent, but I can tell you. No, thank you.
And
Anything else?
yeah, I mean, I've heard that this so-called virus can't even really be isolated. Why can't we approach it from the standpoint of like, is there really a pandemic?
That's right.
Because there isn't.
That's
You know,
right.
there really isn't.
That's
And-
right.
and we have to get to the meat
Yeah.
of the matter.
Well, if you're over 70, you know, it affects a lot of people.
I'm 72.
I'm over 70.
Okay,
I
I'm
was just telling
73.
you, there was,
I
I
recovered.
had a pastor friend who was 71, he died of COVID. I mean, our mother-in-law, I mean, it's, if you're younger, it's not nearly as, it's not dangerous at all, frankly, if you're under 20. You know, so we gotta figure out, the vaccines, I see the numbers because I look at them all the time. It didn't stop the virus, frankly, but the number of hospitalizations and deaths are lower, but there's a risk of the vaccine, and that's why I want people to decide, without a doubt. Is that fair for me?
Yep.
Okay, I gotta do another Zoom, but let me say, if you wanna check us out, on that card that we got is Gazelka, is our website, gazelka.com.
And I left other stuff there.
Yeah,
People want to
take a
continue
look at what
to.
we're doing, and maybe I'll come back again and talk, we didn't know that we were gonna get out a little later. But, I'm asking you to join us. If you're asking how to win, I'm telling you that we are the only ones that have been winning. We won this last election when nobody else won. When you think about that, nobody else won in Minnesota but the Senate Republican majority under my leadership. So I know what I'm doing. I know how to govern. I'm a conservative. Some of the other candidates are not. They say they are, but I work with them. So I can tell you some amazing stories. So anyway, but God bless you all. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you again on the road. Thank you.
And if you need a character reference,
Oh, you're so prejudiced. I can see the
She's
love
not
in your eyes.
prejudiced.
It's not going to work.
two right here. Right here. I want it.
After 39 years, you figure out.
Wait, wait. And then always you pull the picture of the lady.
Few tricks.
There you go. Nice.
She was here one more time. God, thank you.
Really don't. I just took a snap.
All right, we're going to do a Zoom somewhere around here. So.
Thank you.
So it's live. I live you right now. So
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
yeah, of course.
Thank you.
All right, should we try to do it somewhere?
Thank you.
Thanks for what you're doing.
You're welcome.